Hey everybody. So 3D and advanced 3D, you're going to take on a project at home and then be working on a project here. The project in school we'll talk about later. This is your project for at home. So you might be watching this video at school. However, this project will be done at home because it's pretty self-explanatory and it's very independent in nature, meaning that I'm pretty positive that you guys will be okay creating this on your own. Obviously, I'm always here for help and I'll pretty much be live every day with the alternating kids, whatever. I'm just gonna have a Google Meet open all the time. So DeWitt Studio is your link. It's been like that forever. So your project at home is called Tromp Loy. That's how you say that funny looking word. You might have heard of this in Mrs. Kavanaugh's class if you were doing any of those projects. She does do a Trompe l'oeil project there. But basically, what is Trompe l'oeil? It's a style of art. It's a visual illusion if you're using to trick the eye to perceive something as real, even though it's just a replication of it. Okay, so that's what trompe l'oeil is. Now, how do we do that with clay? So it's been happening, throughout history. It's a style of art that you might have never heard of before, but you've probably seen it in a lot of history books and stuff like that. Like that painting on the right there, let me just get this little pop up out of the way, is a painting that's supposed to look like three-dimensional. Actually, you could walk into it, but it's actually just like a relief on a wall, just a painting. So during the Renaissance, and that's probably a painted ceiling, it looks like, but it looks like you're looking into the sky, right? Like it's open, but it's actually just uh, a painting. The Baroque in the 1700s. Again, it looks like there's a big vaulted, like this looks like it goes up as a big vaulted dome, whereas that is literally just a straight flat ceiling that is painted to look that way. Pretty impressive. Pop arts in the 50s, these are all sculptural. Those are not actual people sitting there. Same. That security guard is I don't know if they use wax or clay or what they're using, but same with this whole setup right here. That is just part of an installation. So these are some contemporary trompe l'oeil. Painter Davis Cone, Richard Estates. I don't know how to say that, but those are painted marbles. Isn't that crazy? Julian Beaver, sidewalk chalk artist. These are like everywhere online. Pretty cool. Almost looks like you're interacting with them, but it's tricking your eye there. That's what they were talking about. Like they're all standing. Like these are real people standing on flat ground, but it looks like they're going into this crazy abyss. So your requirements for this project are it needs to be in a trompe l'oeil style. You need to be trying to deceive the viewer to think that it's real. That's how realistic it should look. It's you can have a small series or one large object. The size is up to you, but it should be about 3 weeks worth of your time. But see me if you need like sizing help or whatever, like how big it should be. Your objectives are to build a sculpture using a hand building technique, or hopefully all three if you're going to build like a well developed project: slab construction, coil construction, drape or mold pressing, pinch pot, or form and hollow. However, you need to go about creating the realism in your piece. You can use all of those combined, or you could just use one. To use the additive and subtractive process for details, if you are building something that looks realistic, you will be taking away and adding to. Okay, not one or the other, both. It has to, if it's going to be realistic, you're going to need to use both. And then eventually, when we are finished, to apply glaze properly using advanced glazing, your knowledge and like trying to make it look as real as possible. Now, here's the trick with that. We are going to be doing two projects at once. And while this one is at home, we'll be doing another one in class. So you have to keep this wet or like workable for double the amount of time that you're used to because we're working on two projects at once. So this is the first time I've done it with a ceramics class or 3D class or advanced 3D class to keep a project workable that long. So we will, excuse me, we'll see how that goes and we'll work through it together. I want to give you an example, though, of what the difference between a below standard, the meeting the standard, and then exceeding the standard. So if you turn this in as your trompe l'oeil, this is not a frog that looks like a frog. Looks like a toy frog. You will be below expectations. I am expecting that you can at least replicate the realism of a frog enough to understand the form because you're looking at a picture of it. You're understanding the way that the clay moves or the clay would move based off of how the object is structured. Okay. It's going to take some time. And this is where I expect you to be. This would be above my expectations. However, this is the goal, okay? To make it look so real that it looks like a real whatever you choose object, okay? So by object, I mean you don't have to do an animal like this example shows. Here are some other examples of ceramic sculpture, trompe l'oeil. Please just pay attention as you're looking at these, the fine detail that they have taken to make it look like the actual thing. And if at first it doesn't, don't settle. Keep working on it and refiguring it and redoing it until it does. I'm sure they didn't try and get this right on the first time either. Okay, so those are my examples. And that's the introduction to the project. So if you could start working on your plan page, that is due on Friday of this week. Email me with any questions.